What's up, everybody? And welcome to Buzzworthy TV. And I'm your girl, Lady T. And tonight, we are talking Real Housewives of Atlanta, y'all. So let's get into it. Tonight's episode picks back up from where we left off last week. Nene is storming out the office because she is convinced that this is a jump on Nene session. And I partly blame Dr. Jeff for this because after it was evident that the girls were discussing their issues with Nene, once it became a trend, he should have stopped and said, okay, we gonna come back to that, but let's move on to somebody else, and we're gonna just circle around and then come back to Nene or whatever. So everybody can still get out what they have to say about Nene, but just make it a more balanced session. And that was her problem. Her problem is, people go around here doing stuff and they're forgiven. And I do the same thing and people just harp on it and harp on it. And she just wasn't here for it. So yeah, she left. So Dr. Jeff comes back into the therapy with the ladies, and it's just a whole bunch of sob stories. Kenya sympathizes with Nene because she says she knows how it feels to be basically ostracized from the group or misunderstood or whatever, and always having an issue with people. Yada, yada, yada. And then Cynthia, she thinks it's bullshit. She thinks it's some bullshit. I'm sorry, that's what I get in my notes. Cynthia thinks it's some bullshit. Well, she thinks it's some bullshit because she feels as though Nene never wants to take responsibility. If you are not agreeing with her, then you're against her, and that's just not how you roll with friendships. And I agree with her. I mean, just because we friends don't mean that I always gotta agree with everything and everything that you do. That ain't how I work. Shoot, call me on my bullshit, because I'm going to call you on yours. I mean, that's what friends are for. And friends are supposed to be the ones to tell you the truth. Anyway, then we got Claudia and Cynthia. They talked about how they were bullied when they were kids. And then Portia talks about her dysfunctional marriage she had with Cordero. And then Portia and Kenya talk about their altercation. Fix it. Ooh, sorry about that, y'all. Anyway, so Portia and Kenya talk about the altercation that they had at the reunion. And the thing is that Kenya feels that... Excuse me. Kenya feels that no matter what she said, Portia had no right to put her hands on her. And Portia feels like she was provoked. Like she said at the reunion, then she also mentioned, even in Puerto Rico, I was talking to Nene, you jumped in, and you put your finger all in my face. And she was like, and it just took me back to that place. And that is true. Kenya does not realize that she starts a lot of shit with her words, man. A lot of shit. And I'm just like, for real, you don't understand how you provoke people. You didn't think that scepter and that bullhorn was going to cause your ass to get dragged. You don't think you put your head up in people's face going to cause somebody to want to drag you. So I'm going to need you to smarten up. And I just hope you're just not that dumb for real, though. Then, Portia talks about being called a whore, and how she didn't appreciate that, and how Claudia called her a whore. And my thing is, I'm so sick of this whore talk. That's all they do. You're a whore, you're a whore, you're a whore, you're a whore. Like, y'all all in some form of fashion are whores. Like, all of them give me whore tease. I mean, Claudia I mean, if you ain't a whore, you've done some whorish things in your past. You know, Portia, if you whored around to maintain the lifestyle that you become accustomed to, you single, do what you do. Kenya, shoot, you single, you still look good for your age. If you screwing to get your bills paid, whatever. I mean, it don't really matter to me, so I don't understand why everybody's like, oh, you call me her, you call me a whore. I just don't get it. Anyway, so then, you know, Portia opens her big mouth about Candy and Phaedra because they were asked, I think Dr. Jeff asked why Phaedra wasn't there. And Portia gonna say, well, I think she was a little apprehensive to come because of the issues that she had with Candy. And I'm like, oh my God, like, get over yourself. Why are you opening up your mouth? I don't understand why everybody is speaking on Candy and Phaedra's friendship or whatever. I really don't. I don't get it because I'm just like, they friends. They go be friends, and friends go through their ups and downs. Let them handle it. Like, because y'all butt in is making it worse. So she was like, you know, so obviously everybody know or that we got an issue, something I don't know. And I'm agreeing with what Candy said in the confessional. If I don't know that we have an issue and you have an issue, then you're the one with the issue, not me. And that's so true. Like, Phaedra, you went around literally talking to everybody. Like, everybody in the circle knows that you feeling like Candy wasn't there for you. But you didn't even talk about it with Candy. Like, you acted like she disappeared, like you don't got her number, like she ain't been around. Shoot, if you didn't feel like picking up the phone because you wanted to see if the bitch would call you first, what about those gatherings that y'all have had? Y'all have had plenty of lunches. Shoot, y'all even, you know, it's just been so many group gatherings. You could have pulled her to the side as everybody was dispersed and say, hey, girl, come here. You know, I'm feeling some type of way, blah, 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 blah. So I don't get it. So I don't feel sorry about how Phaedra feels about how Candy abandoned her. I really don't, because she could have been talked to Candy. Anyway, and then, you know, Dr. Jeff said, so how do you think you can make Nene feel as, you know, make her feel better about the situation? Because they did decide that, hey, maybe it did look like a gang up on Nene, you know, situation, and we all did get something out of it because, you know, they had some type of resolution. But let me tell y'all, Candy was giving me life this whole session because her confessionals was like on point. She was like, he think he saw nothing. I mean, he think he saw something. I don't think he saw shit. And then when they decided they was gonna do Nene a video apology, she was like, what? This is why she do what she do. Because y'all continue to kiss her ass. And when they first brought it up in the session, you should have saw Candy's face. She was like, doing that. And so she videotaped them doing it, but she sure wasn't getting that shit. And they actually sent her a video message saying how they're sorry and understood what she was trying to do. Anyway, then we move on to Nene. And, you know, she's studying her lines for Cinderella. You know, she's getting ready to take on Broadway. So she's practicing her lines for Cinderella, and she's talking to her manservant, a.k.a. Greg. And, you know, she's telling him about the therapy session and why she walked out. She says that, you know, she did not bring them there for them to just jump all on her. And her thing is, basically, you can call me out, but y'all didn't even call out your own faults or anything of that nature. And like I said, it did start to become one-sided. And I blame a little bit on Dr. Jeff because he could have cut that, you know, in the middle of all that bullshit and kind of switched it over. And they still could have came back to Nene, so everybody still could have got their point across, but at least she wouldn't have felt ganged up on. So that's exactly what happened. She feel ganged up on, and she just feels like she's over it. She feels like, you know, the group is negative, and she be trying to be positive. But look, Nene, I'm going to need you to acknowledge your whole situation, okay? Because you were the common denominator of all this bullshit. Yes, they could have all discussed the issues that they had amongst themselves, because though everyone does have an issue with you, there's other issues amongst the group as well. But you also have to acknowledge that you are the common denominator. And that's also the problem. You don't want to acknowledge your part in anything. So anyway, then we got Cynthia and Peter. They meet up with Todd and Candy to play pool or whatever. And so they all playing pool and they talking about the whole therapy session or whatever. And basically, Candy is saying the same thing, that she don't understand how Phaedra's been talking to everybody about their supposed issues but her. And so she was like, she not gonna call her, she gonna talk to her in person, because, it's something that they really do gotta get, situated. Then, Phaedra meets with Bishop T.D. Jakes' daughter, Sarah, because, she's still in her feelings about Apollo, as well she should be. And so she was just asking Sarah, how she dealt with, she got divorced and had a lot of things going on, and she, by being in the church, it's just so much pressure. And I like what Sarah said. She was like, I had my first child when I was 14. That was already basically some church drama. And then when I married him, I knew it was going to be some more church drama when I wanted to divorce him. But she said at the end of the day, I had to do what made me happy. And I understand that, because they not walking in your shoes, especially if this person is abusive in any sort of way. You have the right to kind of move on. So, and I know, and I do believe in the Bible, and I don't believe that, you shouldn't be taking marriage lightly or anything of that nature, but there is a reason for divorce. Anyway, so Kenya's having her table reading for As the World Twirls. Oh my goodness. She's freaking out because basically, she had to write some parts for the pilot. This is her money, back in the whole project. Yeah. So, Leon's in it, D Woods. I found out that the original op bid from the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, they all gonna be in this pilot or whatever. They did a table reading. It sounded okay, whatever. It wasn't nothing to really talk about. Then we got Claudia. She does a video chat with Dr. Jeff because she felt like she had some sort of breakthrough at the therapy session with the girls, and she wants to do a private session and talk about some issues that she's having. And while they're on the phone, the conversation gets back to the girls, and he suggests that she takes the girls on a trip, a bonding trip. And at first she's like, is he crazy? I told him what happened when we went to Puerto Rico. But I don't know. Like, I know these trips are really for the reality show. Every reality show, they always gotta go on a trip. Whether it be big or small, they all gotta go on a trip. And so, yeah. It's all strictly for the cameras. But these trips don't never solve anything. It just brings on more drama. So anyway, Kenya and Cynthia show up at Tag's Boutique to meet up with Candy. And they tell, Claudia and Cynthia have come together so that they can get all the girls to decide that they're going to go on a trip to Felice. And so they tell Candy, and Candy's like, first of all, is everybody coming? And so Claudia said she's talking to her people, and Portia's talking to her people. And it was so funny because Candy was talking about that this group should be called the Us because it's Phaedra, Kenya, Cynthia, and every time you know how it is. It's the two groups and they all have Us at the end of their names, and when they see each other, it's like it's just crazy. Yeah, she said it's Phaedra. Phaedra, Portia, Lanithia against Claudia, Kenya, Cynthia, and when y'all see each other, I'm just like, So anyway, that after had that little Kiki, she tells her about the trip to Felice. And Candy's down for it, and she thinks it'd be a perfect opportunity for her to talk to Phaedra. Because like she said, unless Phaedra says some real out of order stuff, which she doubt, she don't got nothing but love for Phaedra. She ain't really tripping. Like, she not really worried about their situation because she know it can be fixed. They just need to talk. Anyway, so then we got Phaedra talking to a lawyer. And basically, Phaedra's going to the lawyer because she feels as though Apollo has been bashing her in the media, and he claims that he wants a divorce. And so she wants to know what her options are. And the lawyer asked what everybody wanted to know. You knew he had been in jail for 5 years. What would possess you to marry him? And she gives us this side story about she thought he was a changed man, and and initially he did seem like he changed and she had faith in him, and then all of a sudden things just started to take a shift. And I'm like, I don't even know what to believe, because the only reason I got any sympathy for Phaedra is because that was her husband, and she does have 2 children by that man. But all this, I didn't know, and I just thought he was a changed man. Miss me with that. Miss me with that. I don't believe, no, girl, bye. So you just want people to feel sorry for you. I ain't one of them. You got my sympathies for, dealing with that situation that your husband's getting locked up for 8 years and you out here, got to raise these 2 boys by yourself. But all that, I thought he was going to change for the better. Girl, bye. You knew who and what he was. But anyway, y'all, that was the episode. Excuse the hair. I'm about to go to shop in the next couple days. And it is time to go to bed anyways. So, until next time, y'all. Peace and love.